Hey guys, this is Hell Hades and this is another Raid Shadow Legends video. So today we're going to do a guide on Whisper. I did a kind of release on Whisper yesterday in a clan boss team without counterattack. I think that's probably where she is best suited, but I've done a bit of tweaking on gear and stuff like that, so I'm just going to run through how I built her, the way I would recommend you build her, and then kind of get her into some content like I would usually do. So let's run through her skills. She's got an A1 which applies a weaken, so it's got a 75% chance when booked to apply weaken, which is pretty decent. It's a strong version of weaken. So what I'd say here, if you are a player who is, I don't know, maybe fairly new to the game, but you've picked up Whisper as part of Amazon Prime, and she can be really valuable for you on Clan Boss for sure. I'm not sure yet that she's valuable in other content, maybe Arena, but it takes a lot of setup to get her going. But definitely on Clan Boss, I think she can help you, and especially if you don't have a counter-attack champion like a Skull Crusher or a Valk or a Martyr. So A1 is weakened. A2 then increases her own attack by 50% if that target has got weaken on it. So pretty much always that should be on. And then when that target's got weaken on, she always applies increased attack if the target's got more max HP than her, which should be pretty much anyone you're fighting if you're kind of, probably mid-game onwards really. Not necessarily in the arena stuff, but definitely mid-game onwards for any PvE stuff. And then she'll ignore defense if the target's got weaken. So she can place weaken. If she's got someone else in her team as well that places weaken, then that helps us as well. But the ignore defense hit is a really big hit. We then go into A3, which basically attacks 2 times and gets a chance and grants an extra turn 100% of the time if the target's got decreased defense and weaken on. So basically what we've got here is definite extra turn here, and then she's got a passive as well, which gives her a 10% chance of granting an extra turn whenever she lands a crit. She also does more damage to bosses. So we've got 10% chance to land an extra turn if she crits, a definite extra turn on her A3, and an absolute chunk of a hit on her A2. So what you really want on her is ideally Relentless Gear. You don't have to have Relentless Gear, but Relentless Gear gives you a separate 18% chance to get an extra turn. So what you're doing is you're kind of stacking the chances to get extra turns on top of one another to try and get her on a kind of flurry of more than one turn. Now, if I think about where she could be useful, maybe I'll just go straight into a review. Clan Boss, I think if you don't have a counter-attacker, she's top tier. I think she's actually about as good as it gets, in line with somebody like a Turvold. Someone who can kick out big damage, she's up there with them. So I think she's top tier for Clan Boss if you do not have a counter-attacker. Dragons, I think in dungeon content she's going to suffer because she doesn't have any AoE hits. And although her hits are big, they're no bigger than some of the guys that actually do it on an AoE basis when you're just doing kind of single target hits on mobs in dungeons and stuff like that. So I don't think any of the dungeons is going to be where she really shines. Arena offense, she can be strong, but she requires some good setup. So you probably would need someone like a Venus or a Draco or 2 champions laying a decreased defense and weaken to really activate her, and that's quite hard to do, especially in the kind of current meta where speed comps are falling on their way, falling out the window. So and actually you kind of need her to do extra turns as well. So her A2 might one-shot a tank potentially, but she's also very easy to be one-shotted in the sort of setups you have to do to make that work. Campaign is not going to be her thing. Could she do it? Probably. She gets extra turns, but she doesn't have her AoE, so it's not going to be where she's useful. I think the keep, she'll be pretty standard, kind of helpful, but again, she's single target. Single target is really, it's critical in the kind of way this is set up. It means that she is not going to be your kind of big performer in a lot of these different areas. Arena defense, I think she would be poor. She's definitely somebody that you need to control. Ice golems, again, it's pretty similar to dragons really. She doesn't bring anything which is going to help you with the waves, which is going to kind of clear stuff quickly. I think she's going to be middle of the road. Spider, I think she's even worse because you might get a couple of extra turns on the boss, but you're not bringing enough utility, certainly not in the end game. Maybe if you picked her up and was kind of pre-level 14, then she could do some work for you, but she's not going to be your Spider champ. And Fire Knights, I think pretty much the same. I think it's not going to be her dungeon. So, you know, it kind of gets down to the point of she's very specific in terms of where you can use her and have some real effectiveness from her. But I think her single best use would be a clan boss team where you've not managed to pull a counter-attack champion. That's my ratings. So the way I've got her kind of geared and ready to go at the moment is purely for clan boss. So we've got her mastery set up to do War Master on hit. We kind of come down the normal clan boss kind of setup here. I do want her counter attack to have potential to kind of kick in because we're not going to be playing her with a counter attack champion. So that can give us some extra hits. And I showed her in a different video with a kind of real high end clan boss team. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down a stage. Perhaps I'm going to kick into Brutal. So she's got good gear. Let me just show you her gear properly actually. She's got good gear on. I expect her to do some crazy damage with this gear because it's some of my better gear. I put her in Relentless set. Relentless set has got crit damage on the gloves. This is an HP chest with some good rolls on crit. Boots with a bit of crit damage on it. A shield with some crit damage and crit rate. And then I've got 2 speed pieces. Again, I'm looking for crit rate and I'm looking for crit rate again. So I'm trying to get her crit up as much as possible. I've got it up to 81%. I prefer it to be 100%. But I don't want to forfeit too much of my crit damage, and I actually want to get some accuracy into her build so that she can land the weaken. So let's just get into a fight. So I'm going to fight Brutal here, and I'm going to fight it with a team which perhaps is a bit more realistic than the team I was using in my clan boss video, which is very high end. So this sort of team here, I'll show you the team which I've got in my other video quickly. Just lay them out so you can kind of see what I was doing. So I had a Tyrell, I had an Arbiter, I had a Vizier, I had Whisper. So I decreased this, and then I had Bad L for heals. So Bad L, wherever he is, was my healer. There he is. So what this meant was I'd keep my buffs up 100% of the time because of Vizier. I got somebody that can resurrect me in Arbiter and keep my healing going. I've got healing coming in here. So the whole team kind of sets itself up nicely and you can kind of just roll in with the damage. Now, what I'm going to do is kick out some of these legendaries and try and see how this runs with still a good team. We're not going to go in with a bunch of rares, but what I'm going to do is try and pull it into a kind of more realistic team for perhaps a fair percentage of people that are watching the video. So we're going to have Tyrell lead, decreased defense, decreased attack. We've got speed merchant in apothecary and some healing. We've got speed, cleanse, and poisons coming out of my steel skull. And then I think I'm going to go for, maybe I go more Sim Mage. So I'll check something on him. No, I want to go with somebody that's got the right sort of mastery. So there we go, Light Swarm will do. So we'll go with somebody that's got the right sort of mastery so that at least they're doing some damage to the clan boss. So we should just check Tyrell as well. I think Tyrell's good. Yep. And let's just check my Steel Skull because I've not used him in a while. Yeah, so normally what you would want here is this tree in support if you're not running it with a Vizier. So at the moment I've got him set up like this and like this. I would swap this over to basically come into accuracy and then down here into support tree to make me land poisons and hold poisons more often. But the main thing about this setup is I need decreased defense to activate Whisper. I need Whisper to activate Whisper in terms of a weaken. And then I need everybody else just kind of chunking in damage on the boss. So what we're going to do is we're going to see how this runs against Brutal. So I'm not going against the highest of the high here, but this is hopefully a more realistic team. I don't know, people might tell me different, but I want decreased defense on first. and Steel Skull's just there for the poison. I can get decrease attack in from my Lightsworn. That's on. I'm going to get my Weaken on from my Whisper. There it is. And then from there, I've got the activation now to do her other abilities. Pretty much I just chunk in poisons and stuff as much as I can here. A1's with someone like Lightsworn and with my Apothecary. So here what I do is I go A2 because both decreased defense and weaken are on. A2 chunk of damage, double hit, 40k a pop, and then I go A3 and then A2 increases my attack and ignores defense. So slams for 64k. If you was to do that same hit on Ultra Nightmare, it slams for a lot more because of the kind of way these things are set up. So you get a lot more benefit actually in these kind of big hitters the higher you go up. I've got an extra turn off there, extra turn again. I could go into this one. Yeah, we'll go into this one. 70 okay. So see that 3 turns in a row, and that is kind of where you get your benefit. It's when she starts to kick in loads of turns. So I am going to run this through to the end, and yeah, I'll show you how we're getting on. Okay, so we're coming to the end of the fight. I've literally just started to lose people about 12 minutes. So Lightsworn is the last one alive, doing some work. Didn't have much poison going throughout the whole fight, so most of the damage is coming from Whisper here, if you see. So 8 million from Whisper versus 4 million from my Poisoner. And really all I was doing was poisoning unless I needed the heals. Everyone else is kind of around the 4 million mark. So 24 million on Brutal. I don't even know what that means nowadays. It's a single key on Brutal with this team. They've got reasonable gear on. They're really not that well geared. Are they better geared than perhaps someone who's hitting Brutal? Maybe. I don't know. Whisper certainly is. Whisper's in good gear. But everyone else, if we have a quick look, Lightsworn, 4 and 5 star stuff. Some of it max, some of it's not. Pretty good, I suppose. It's pretty good. Tayrell's in decent gear. My Apothecary is in sort of 5-star gear across the board, pretty decent. But yeah, nothing insane. Maybe you're going to come back and say it's insane. Maybe it is. 5-star gear, pretty much on my Steel Skull, so it's decent gear, but it's not insane gear. So that is a kind of non-counter team hitting an earlier level clan boss. And then what I'm going to show is I want to throw her into a clan boss team again on Ultra, but with more of my kind of standard setup. I'm going to go Tayrell though, so Tayrell for the lead. Or am I? No, I'm going to go Ultan, Razin. So this is my 2 sort of normal setup. I'm then going to go for my counter attacker in this setup. So that's the main thing I want to see is how does she perform in a counter attack team. So we're going to go. Perhaps we go. No, I don't want him. I need Bad L unfortunately because of my healing. I don't have a healer other than Bad L set up to go. Maybe I'll run Steel Skull and then it's not so crazy. It does massively limit the damage I'm going to do, but I'll run Steel Skull in this so that you can kind of see what happens when there's not a Bad L, I guess. I'll run Whisper for some damage, and then I will run my counter attacker. So you kind of see what I'm aiming for here is what does Whisper do in a counter attack team versus a standard team. I don't think she's going to be as effective. I'm going to run it on auto so you can just kind of see it playing out. I don't think she'll be as effective because her extra turns don't give us the benefit that you get from having no counter-attacker. So whole point of a counter-attacker is you get the benefit of every single hit that goes on. So you see here, every time she does an extra turn hit, her buffs will drop off her. And so this time around, she's got both benefits. She's got benefit of both counter-attacks. My question is, how long into the fight is that going to work? So I'm not actually sure what level I just put this on actually. Did I put it? I think I put it onto Ultra. So yeah, I think we're on Ultra here. So it's high level clan boss. And yeah, basically what we're looking at is she going to kick out enough damage to be worthwhile in a counter-attack team? So when she was not in a counter-attack team, you see all these extra hits. Look at those. She's doing tons. all those extra hits there basically means she loses the buffs that were on her, so she's not going to counterattack here. But perhaps, maybe still those extra hits are worth the damage that she puts in. So that's what I'm wondering right now. She's also, compared to the rest of the team here, she's a bit squishy, and without someone like an Arbiter in the team picking you up and healing, I just wonder what sort of sustain she's going to have in that sort of level of team as well. So the team I was showing yesterday, there she goes again, look at all those hits. Team I was showing yesterday was basically built around Arbiter, Bad L, lots of healing, lots of revives possible. Vizier keeping all the buffs up. So you see here we've not got that many poisons rolling. So yeah, there's a lot of kind of factors that were kind of giving me a really great setup yesterday. Whereas in this setup, although she's still strong, it's so it'll be interesting just to see how she does. So I'm going to let this roll out on auto, and then I'll show you the damage at the end. So because my team didn't have life steal, they didn't last very long actually. I did about 14 million. It's not really the damage that I care about. If I had my Bad L back in there, I'd be back up to around 20 million, I'd expect. Maybe more. But the thing here is she is doing a level amount of damage with someone like an Ultan, a Razin. She's done more than the Steel Skull, the Poisoner. So I think she's got capability of coming into an endgame clan boss team, both counter-attacker and not counter-attack team. But you kind of just need to make sure that you build a team around her, I think, or perhaps not build a team around her, but she's not just going to come in and do insane amounts of damage. She needs a lot of support and she needs a lot of kind of healing to keep her going and revive. So interesting. I think for me, her best place for clan boss is going to be without a counter attacker and in a speed comp. That's what I think like she's going to do best. So let's throw her into some other content then. So I think it might even be the right day. Yes, the right day to see her in faction crypts. So let's try her in a reasonably easy level. What do we want? Maybe that is what we want. Yeah. So this team setup is kind of all around damage at the minute. I don't really have the best setup for. I could put Doom Priest in maybe. Give me a little bit of healing. Try this. I'm not really kind of made this team as good as it can be, but she's just one-shot these guys pretty easily. But see the difference, she one-shots a champion, and you're hoping for that extra turn all the time for her to be super relevant. So there, no extra turn, which means all she's done is kind of put one big hit in on somebody, versus someone like a Skullcrown who basically nukes the entire enemy. So yeah, and this is exactly what we're going to find when she goes into any of the dungeon content. She's useful, she's just taken somebody out, but there's so many champions in this game that can just take people out, versus this. This is what you actually want in, in terms of wave control and damage. You need AoE champions that do that, or you need somebody like a Cold Heart who does it in a way that really kind of lays the damage down, like a nuke hit. She doesn't bring that, and I don't think she's going to be. So if I go into a harder level now that I'm struggling to clear, I don't think she's going to bring really much that's useful for us. And this team is not even a bad setup for her, because I've got people that bring weaken, I've got people that bring decreased defense. All right, the turn order's not perfect, so she's going before them at the minute. Actually, that's not good. They're going to put a load of buffs on, but yeah. I just feel like compared to a lot of other champions, or anything where you've got to get through waves like this, I can't see that she's going to be your best champ. Even then, like 18k hit, well, my Skullcrown's doing that, but with an AoE hit. So it's far better for this kind of wave control. She's also got the ability, I've got her in stun set, so she's got the ability to control waves with stuns. Unless you get a load of procs of extra turns, I don't think she's going to be a champion for you if you're looking to try and get through content further and further. For me, really, the only time I'd advise for you to properly invest and level her up is if you are looking to do a clan boss team with without a counter attacker. Otherwise, I'd say she is not going to be the person for you. We're probably going to get through the level, but not because of Whisper. Maybe we won't actually. It's looking pretty rough. Looking pretty rough. Yeah, we kind of need her to go on a crazy turn spree, but she's not. So this is her time to shine. Can she do anything? Well, she's going crazy, but no. So for me, this isn't a place for her. And I think what we're going to find is pretty much anywhere in the game, other than that kind of clan boss that I showed you, in terms of PvE, she's going to be lackluster. Maybe Fire Knights. Let's try her in Fire Knights. The reason why Fire Knights she could be pretty useful is because of the actual Fire Knight. Bringing a load of extra turns could be good for us, but again, it's so situational. So what should we do here? Let's do better team than this. So let's throw her in. Keep this, keep this. Let's put Whisper in here. Decrease defense. Shielding. Revives. Feels okay. Probably need someone else for turn meter. Let's do this. We're just trying to activate her abilities. Again, if you look at the amount of kind of utility other people are bringing here, we've got mass poisons, we've got utility around decreased defense across the board, decreased attack across the board, and in comparison to that, she's doing one single target hit where you're just praying that she gets an extra turn. So is she the reason we get through this wave? Actually, I mean, she's done work. She's done work. She's put in some big hits, and she's got us through a couple of these mobs with extra turns. So it's not like she's not useful. I just feel like in dungeon content, there's better people out there. A lot better people out there as well. The Cold Heart is taking a beating as always. She loves taking a beating in these fights. There's my decreased defense, so it gets me sort of set up from my War Maiden. Hopefully we'll get another revive from my Blind Seer in a sec. But yeah, so you'd hope here one, no more. So you kind of need her to be able to go 1, 2, at least take a couple of people out. Hitting for 24k there, it's not that big a hit. It's not a big hit. We've got AoE champs that can do that easily across the whole board when you've got decreased defense on. So yeah, this is not where she shines for me, any of the dungeon content. And this is probably our best dungeon, I'd say. Could she do Dragons 20? Yes. Could she do Ice Golem 20? Yes. She can definitely do those dungeons. It's not like she couldn't do it. But I think there's rares that would get you through that content easier than what she will. So here we're kind of just getting down the shield. So again, if she gets extra turns here, then perfect, but she didn't. Which means that, we've not really had much. Get the weaken off, which is helpful. Cold Heart's laying down again. It's just the annoying thing with auto is they're all doing stupid abilities instead of just breaking the shield off. We get 1 hit, 2 hits, which is, again, it's useful. But yeah, you kind of need it. You need it more regularly than that to be proper insane for this sort of fight. At the moment, she's performing average and kind of no better than anyone else in this team. In fact, she's probably, when we see the damage at the end of it, she's probably the underperformer in the team. I mean, nice chunks there, 70 odd Ks. They're good hits. They're good hits. But you see there, we've got multi-hit from someone like a Tomb Lord, who's not valued very highly in this game. He's actually very good for Fire Knights, by the way. So we've got an extra turn here, 30k, double hit, 3 hits. That's where we get some use. We're probably going to fail because my Blind Seer is dead. But in fact, we are going to fail. So you can see, I mean, she's not. Yeah, I don't know. She's brilliant for. I think she's a bit of a one-trick pony for me. So that's that done. Didn't make it through. She did damage. In fairness, she did more damage than anyone in this setup, which is surprising to me. Maybe there was a big chunk of damage at the end there, so that's quite surprising. Maybe you can make her work. Maybe there is a way, but I don't think she's going to be kind of pulling you into speed comps. And then lastly, let's show her in the arena. So the arena should be somewhere that she can shine. Now I am currently sitting in kind of mid-level plat, so I'm in a reasonable sort of level of elo here. I'm trying to find a team that I think she would work against. Maybe. So you kind of need somebody that can revive her. You need somebody that can enable her hits. So think about it. We need decreased defense. We need weaken just to enable her main abilities. She could put the weaken on herself potentially, but we do need decreased defense. Now, if you want an AoE decreased defense, you're pretty much looking at somebody like a Tyrell, but he's not ideal for arena. He's not bad, but he's not ideal. Let's try this, but instantly I feel like we're not going to win. I feel like I can't do enough to protect her. So look at that damage she takes already. In fact, all of them take. That's a big hit there. Decent chunk of damage back on the counter attack. So we need to outspeed everyone here, so I'm going to speed up and put buffs on. I've been locked out on my decreased defense, of course I have. I need to take down Duchess because she's just going to revive people that I pick up or that I knock down. But equally, if I go for her, then I'm probably going to get nuked by someone like Ray. I'm in trouble anyway. So what can I do? I've got no weaken up, so I can't do my my kind of ignore defense, which is what I want to do. I probably need to just go with my A1 and try and get weaken on myself. Didn't land. I've got block debuffs up anyway, so it's not going to land. So we've just got to kind of bide our time, see if we can get into the fight. Don't think we are going to. No. So I don't know. Maybe that's my team setup is at fault there, but that is what I expected to happen really. Tormund could be fine if I'm not doing like a speed up. Then maybe let's try and find a tankier team setup like this. So let's try something different then. Let's try a team where I remove buffs. She applies decreased defense. Seer could apply a weaken for me. I don't have many AoE weakens. I've got Skull Crown that could do it. I've got Seer that could do it. Otherwise, I don't think I've got anybody else that I would put into a lineup like this. So, I mean, this feels very risky. I think we'd have to go Arbiter lead because of how risky it is. Not necessarily for the speed ups, but for the revives. So, all of this to enable her is super risky. So, am I going to be faster anyway? Yeah, I'm faster than all of their teams, so I don't need to do anything to try and boost turn meter. That would be a bad thing to do with Tormund on the other's team. So the person I probably need to take out is Duchess again. Hopefully I get a weaken. She's resisted. Try that again. Probably going to resist again. So they've all resisted it. So I guess what I should do here is just try and go for my one shot on Tormund and just see how much damage it does. So 28k hit, get another turn. I'm probably going to go for this double hit anyway because I think it's my best chance of killing him, but it's only going to get him to frozen state. So you see, yeah, she's strong enough. I don't know. Now I probably do need to speed up and try not to get frozen everywhere. If this works, it would be amazing. But I only cleared a couple people. Mountain King obviously is just going to wreck me. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's... Yeah, I feel like this is not going to be a place either. I can't... There'll be some teams, certainly if you're in Gold 4, anything less than gold 4, she will rock your world in the arena. If you're thinking of endgame arena, she is not going to rock your world at all. And when I say rock your world, she's only going to do what other champions can already do. So we've got other champions that can hit really hard, single target, that are attack based. The shame with her is she's not really got any survivability. So to make her hit that hard, you need to make her kind of glass cannon. So the only way you make that happen is you can put her in a more what do you call it, gear, immunity gear. You can put her in immunity gear so that she doesn't get CC'd up, but then she's still in trouble because if you don't go first, she is just going to die anyway. So yeah, so I don't know, it feels like I was super excited about her. I still think she's cool for that kind of one niche area, and I really like it for that because I think the game needs an answer to there being a lack of counter-attack champions in this game. So if you've got her and you don't have a counter-attacker, I think she's amazing. I think she's really cool. But if you do have a counter-attacker, then I can't see where she would fit into most team compositions. So yeah, that's been my review of Whisper. Cool idea of a champion. Could probably do with something that's a bit AoE, just to kind of give her more utility. If she did AoE weaken before off her A1, then she would be an insane champion. Damage on her A1, AoE, puts weaken everywhere, and then she does the other stuff that she's got. I think she would be excellent as a champion, but she just lacks a bit for me in any kind of wave-based content. So this is Hell Hades, signing out.